Hello, and welcome to this conversation between myself, Jenny, and Katie Phillips, who not only is my dear friend, but a master coach specializing in empowered feminine leadership, the author of The Self-Love Affair, and the founder of the Daring and Mighty movement. Welcome.
Hi, darling. Thank you for having me.
Can I just say, those three things, when we first met, none of that existed.
No,
Isn't that brilliant?
none of that was furthest from either of our minds,
Yeah. And
right?
I
Yeah.
love just having watched and the two of us just watch our, I guess, our evolution through this work and how we've, in a way, we've mirrored each other, but also done
Yeah.
things in a very different way.
Yeah. Well, we met like 25 years ago,
Yeah,
if not
yeah,
longer, but around that. Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, 24 years ago.
Mm,
Yeah.
there you go. Mhm.
Anyway, so today, as we have many conversations, but today our conversation is going to be specifically about your experience, and I'm super grateful that you're on here to talk about this, your experience at Blue Horse Bali. Um, the reason why I'm so delighted that you're here to talk about it is firstly, I can talk about it till I'm blue in the face in terms of what I think this is, the power of it, etc. But I know the most powerful way this can come across is through the eyes and the stories of someone who's actually had an experience themselves.
Mm. Very
Uh,
special experience.
yeah, and to be completely transparent, yourself and the particular group that you were with, the retreat that you were with, was our very first retreat in terms of a
Yeah.
retreat environment. Um, None of you knew. Actually, this was a little bit different. It was part of a pilgrimage. It was part of an actual kind of 8-9 day journey.
Pilgrimage. Yeah.
It was a pilgrimage in many
It
ways.
was in literal all the ways. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's another conversation which we'll have one day because that's that's a big one. But
Yeah.
um, this experience with Blue Horse was on actually the very first day, and you knew nothing about it. I didn't tell anyone what was happening, um, and so just for me to kind of be in the experience with you, but also just to witness the magic that unfolded, that I'm sure you're going to do a really good job of describing it, but it it is very difficult to get across. And what's quite amusing now when people ask me, so what do you do, Jen? I'm like, oh, before it used to be, oh, do I really want to have the conversation about coaching? Or if I didn't want to have to speak to someone, I'd say, yeah, I'm a coach. And they'd be like, oh, okay. And now it's like, well, there's these horses, and this mentorship, and kind of works together. So for me, this kind of conversation is the way in which the essence of it, because it is an essence, it's a felt thing, and obviously you had a very visceral experience.
Mm,
I think it's the best way to try and communicate what
mm.
goes down at Blue Horse, and to say every experience is different, but we're here to talk about your experience.
Oh yeah, I can imagine every experience is totally different. I'm just listening to you, and I really, my whole body energy has been taken back to that day. And I remember we walked to the property where Blue Horse is because we were staying just around the corner. And I was just excited to see horses. I'm like, yay, we're going to go see horses because, I love
Yeah.
horses and I think they're very, very majestic, beautiful creatures. And I used to ride as a teenager, and I've always felt comfortable around horses and also, they're their own being, so very respectful. They have a lot
Yeah.
of power.
Oh
But the
yeah.
only power I pre coming to Blue Horse, the only power I'd really experienced of horses was just their physical mighty power being on the back of a horse. And I've had my fair share of accidents and I've got scars on my body from those accidents. So I've learned to be respectful around horses
Yeah.
because they are physically powerful. Not
Hmm.
inherently dangerous, but physically powerful. Anyway, I was just excited to come see the horses. Uh, and I mean, can I just like, I feel like I just want to walk you through how I
Yeah.
felt. I just entered
Hmm.
Blue Horse
Yeah. I mean, that's
because
a thing in itself, right?
but it is a thing in itself because we walked, as I was saying, we were staying just around the corner. So we just walked this kind of dirt track that is Bali,
Yeah.
and and then there was, I think, some big gates, but you absolutely from the road wouldn't have had a clue what was coming your way.
Mm.
And we I just remembered this gate opening and just walking into paradise. It was
Yeah.
just, it was manicured and curated, and it was just beautiful. It had this beautiful energy and it felt really sacred. And I felt like, oh gosh, we're walking into something really different here.
Mm.
I didn't still know what to expect. And suddenly it wasn't so much, oh, I'm excited to see horses. It was, oh, there's something really special and magical coming here. And yeah, we were taken down to the stables, although they're not, are they stables?
Yeah, that's stables. And I just, sorry to interrupt, but just want to, to kind of create the image there where you sort of walk down through a, it's basically a what's the word? It's covered by bougainvillea. It's like a
Yeah, it's
tunnel.
like a tunnel. It's like a
Tunnel.
tunnel. Yeah, you're right. Good point. It is
Yeah.
like a tunnel. Yes, yes.
And one of the things, and such an overused word. This is I don't even know if I like this word, but we naturally call it walking down through the portal.
Yeah, I think it's a portal too.
It is a portal, and I think it's important to let's just clarify in my understanding what a portal is. It's a frequency. It's a shift in an energetic frequency,
Mhm.
and it's like a step change,
Mm,
and
yeah.
so you feel different. It's like a portal is a door. It's a doorway into a new frequency, and as you walk down towards the stable, I've witnessed so many people do it now, and their whole physiology just changes, and
Well, I
there's
think
silence.
yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. So we were a group of what, 10 women, I guess.
Yeah,
And, we're chatting on the walk. And then we arrive and we walk down through the tunnel that is, it's a floral tunnel, greenery.
yeah,
And we just all went silent. There was just this reverence of, oh, okay, it's a bit like walking into a church and you just go silent, don't you, when you walk into a
yeah,
church? And it was like that. We all went silent and we were all feeling deeply, I don't know, calm, respectful, uh, kind of like in anticipation what's about to happen here. We didn't know. And we had a
yeah,
beautiful time in circle with Joyce explaining the history behind Blue
mhm,
Horse and how these horses came into her world. And what was so gorgeous about that is Joyce just is so unassuming and so just beautifully real and down to earth. And just almost, I mean, I know she knows what she has created is really special,
yeah,
but there's no ego or anything attached to that. She's just deeply humble and honest, and she just shares how she came upon these beautiful horses and what she went on to do with them, and just the very natural journey of it, and how
yeah,
it just evolved into. And at that point, it was, is this a business. I mean, put labeling it that just never, she was,
No.
it's not a business. It's come to me as a gift to share with the world. And I don't know, it was just beautiful the way she talked about it.
Yeah. I think it's, the way I see it, which is very apt for Bali, it's an offering.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I
It's
get
an
that.
offering. And,
Yeah.
in Bali, what you see every day is the Balinese in ceremony doing their
Mm,
offerings. And
mm,
there's something very, again, very, very simple, but deeply important.
mm.
And I feel like that's the word that that is, because there was, like you said, it's been an unfolding. There's nothing ever, ever, ever been strategized.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, there's no strategy. It's you could tell the
No.
whole experience there. Everything, the way it's all come together has been a felt journey and it's been
Yeah.
an evolution and it's as if, something greater has guided
Mhm.
Joyce and is guiding you now and the
Yeah. I mean,
whole
how
yeah.
I've ended up in this whole thing is a whole
I'm
nother
not
story.
I'm
But
not
yes.
I'm not surprised that you don't know how to talk about the horses because it's not like you've been a horsey person all your life, is it?
I have not. I have
Oh,
not. And I have not. And that's, I mean, that is another story. And it
yeah.
is, that is for me being a completely miraculous unfolding that I
Mm,
absolutely could not have
mm,
made up, but it's been the most natural thing in the world.
mm. Yeah. Yeah. So we had that beautiful time in circle. I think, if I'm remembering right, I think Joyce asked us why we were there and perhaps what we wanted to
Your
receive from
intention,
the
yeah.
experience. And whether we shared it out loud. I think we did share out loud what our
Mm.
intention was. And it's so funny to look back because of course here I come to Bali for was it a 10-day experience led by you. And bless my little human mind. I'm there I was just over a year into what I call the void, which you call the void of
Mhm.
stripping back my identity essentially
Yeah,
and taking a huge step back from my work in women's empowerment. I still was working a little bit behind the scenes, but I wasn't creating anything new or launching, and I wasn't, running this machine that had become my business. I pressed stop on the machine, and I
yeah,
created a lot of time and space for myself to just be. And it was something about coming to turning 50, and I was just like, what is next for me? And without talking about my journey through the void, part of that, just to say, which is relevant to this, was deep discomfort and a deep identity shift. And I was at the point of that journey where I thought, well, I just need to figure out what I'm going to do next. So if it's not that business, or if I'm not meant to coach women in that way, I need to know the way. Like the answer to everything for me is just, show me the next iteration of my professional life. Show
yeah,
me my purpose and what I'm meant to do in the world. Like, and I wanted that answer. I'm like, I'm coming to Bali and I'm going on what do we call it? A pilgrimage, and by the end of it, I'll know what I'm going to do.
yeah.
I'll
And
have,
incidentally, we didn't call it a pilgrimage until we'd completed it, and it was, oh, that was a
oh,
pilgrimage.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We went on a 10-day adventure of not knowing what each day would bring. There was a surprise element every single day, of which Blue Horse was the first surprise element. And and yeah, I just thought, right, great, this is perfect. This is stepping out of my world, away from all responsibilities, children, animals, husband, life, everything. And I'm going to get the answer to what I'm meant to do because I was in deep discomfort of not feeling purposeful in the world. Um, so I probably shared some aspect of that with Joyce before we went in to sit with the horses. Um, we went in. And there was this it was so beautiful. I mean, the reason I hesitated to say stables before is because I've seen a lot of stables. And I mean, this is next level stables. They're very beautiful, and I don't even know how to describe how special they are and how curated they are. And I mean, it's the most professional setup. It's, I mean, it's clean and tidy and beautiful to look at. And you can just tell that it's all about the care of the horses. It's
Yeah.
just they come first, and you can just tell that by you can just feel it. It's just stunning. Um, yeah, and you'd set up a beautiful semicircle. Were they like little chairs, little seated chairs?
Yeah, so little low kind of meditation chairs, essentially.
Yeah,
They're
that's
sort of
right.
on the ground because one of the most important things about this is our connection to nature. The whole thing is around
Mm,
like how can we deeply ground and connect in with nature and receive nature's wisdom
mm, mm,
and
mm.
be part of that. So we're not just kind of receiving, we're also giving, but by the very, the lower to the ground you can be, the more grounded into the earth and
Oh,
nature.
yeah.
Hence why we do it like that.
It
Yeah.
felt really, it did feel very sacred, and it felt there was ritual to it, the way we very silently walked in. And again, no one told us be silent, be calm,
Mm-mm.
quiet.
Mm-mm.
We just knew. We
Yeah.
we just knew. And there were two horses. Now I don't remember the second. I remember Xena, the other one.
Xena and Athena.
Athena, that was it, Athena.
Yeah.
And they were there
Both
in,
Greek goddesses, of course, by the
of
way.
course, of course they are, and as they should be. Um, but we were in, what do you call it? It's not a
A
ring.
semicircle.
Yeah, but the space that we were in, it was
Oh,
their
the arena. The arena.
arena,
Yeah.
the arena. Yeah. So walked in single file, chose our seats and sat on the seat that was on the earth that was the arena, the horses arena. And just that alone is actually, it was, that's quite a vulnerable act because these horses are huge and
Mm-hmm.
they weren't on a rein or anything, on a rope. They were just walking free. The horses were, in fact, that was the beautiful thing. It was like you were walking into their space
Yeah.
and this is their space. So we knew without, I don't think we were told, we knew to just sit and be silent and and
Yeah.
be amongst the horses in their
Yeah.
space.
And I don't know if you recall, because there's a beautiful photo of it. Actually, as you walk down into the stable area, Xena was actually sitting in front of the semicircle
Oh
on
my
her own
gosh. She
in the
was.
arena, and she was waiting for you. Nobody put her there. She was ready. She was waiting.
Oh,
She was, I mean, that, I mean, it blew me away. I don't know about you guys, but it was
that's
like,
I'm getting tears
whoa.
in my eye. I'm getting tears in my eyes remembering that. I'd forgotten that. She was.
Yeah,
She it's like she knew what was coming.
she does know. It's not even like she knows. She knew. Yeah,
Yeah.
and she was ready.
And I can't quite remember how it went. I remember that a sound healer came in and was playing
Mhm.
some music at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah. Nikki was there doing her, but as part of the ritual, she had her drums, she had her crystal bowls and all the things.
Yeah.
But again, it's the purpose of that is it it's the frequency. It's the frequency of that music. If we want to call it music or the sound, to really, it's quite tribal. I,
Yeah.
I it's
Yeah.
quite a tribal thing when you're dealing with well, I mean, okay, domesticated animals, but these powerful animals and ourselves, and we're going into ritual together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was felt. The ritual together was absolutely felt. Um, and our only instruction was to sit. That was
Mm.
it. Like just sit and be and let's see what happens. And really just receive the experience. I mean, I remember just feeling just I remember just saying to myself, Katie, just be and just let's just receive this experience, receive whatever's coming. And
Mm.
yeah, and I think Xena just kind of, at some point, she came and just checked us all out. She went to you first. No, that was what she did. She went to you first. And it was
Mm.
almost like a handing over. It was
Yeah.
like, it was, and we all felt it. She came to you because you were her connection to us. And it was almost like, I'm gonna take over now.
Taking
Or,
care.
or I don't know if
I've
she's
got
asking
this.
your
Yeah.
permission, but she was like, I've got this now.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean, she literally came and put her face on my face and just was breathing on me, very
Yes.
gentle. And then off she went. And actually, she didn't come back to me until the end of the
Mm.
experience.
It was so
Yeah.
beautiful. It was, yeah, that was really touching. And then she just decided who she wanted to go and see. And I think she just sniffed the hair of a few people, went round. And she just, anyway, at some point, she came and stood right behind me.
Mm.
And I think I had my eyes closed actually. I think I was just sat there almost just not so much in meditation, but just quiet contemplation, just receiving the experience, waiting for what was to come. And then I just felt her solidly standing behind me. It's quite hard to put into words what happened, uh, but I felt her energy. And then she put her head curved right over the front of me, and she put her nose right down into my womb space. So her whole neck and head was arched over my body. So I was like completely enveloped by her.
Mm.
And I felt the energy from her heart come through the back of my heart and out through the front of my heart. And it was, you know, obviously something I've never experienced before, just profoundly powerful. I mean, to actually be able to physically feel this energy move from her through my body and out. And as that happened, I I mean, she was there for quite a while, and this
Oh, yeah.
energy was passing through, and it literally forced noise out of my mouth. So I didn't sit down in that arena upset about anything. I mean, I was a little like attached to the outcome of I need to know what my purpose is in the world. But apart from that, I
Tell
was,
me.
yeah, like I wasn't grieving anything. I wasn't upset about anything. I was actually feeling just so good in myself and happy in where I was at in my life and, feeling really quite blessed in my life at that point and still do. And the noise that came out of me sounded like uh, it was guttural. It was like a moan and then oh, how would you describe it? You heard it. What was it? It was
Well,
very
it was,
loud,
it was very loud. It was primal.
primal.
Yeah.
Yes, it was primal. And it came out almost like sobs,
Mm.
guttural sobs. And there were definitely some tears, but it was more the energy and the noise of that energy. Like it was like the energy needed to make a noise to release out, and it
Yes.
and it made that noise. And it took me by surprise. And honestly, I could have suppressed it
Yeah.
because I didn't know the women I
Could,
knew.
could could you have done? Do you think?
Mm, well, I think if I was super self-conscious, because I didn't know the women,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I was, if I was there was a part of my brain going, oh God, this is a bit embarrassing, this noise I'm making in front of these women that I don't know. They're going to think I'm deeply unhinged. It was kind of that noise was going on. But yeah, it's a good point. Could I have controlled it? I don't know. I mean, just me being me, I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm going to go with the flow of
yeah,
energy.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what the energy is going to do. And I
yeah,
didn't have choice over that. It's not like I decided to make a noise. Just
yeah.
what happened is what happens. Could I have not allowed myself to receive that energy exchange and that move through? Maybe.
Mm,
But in the moment, it felt absolutely not in my control, not of my making either.
yeah.
It happened and it was a massive release. And it felt, the word that came to me as I was experiencing it was maternal.
Mm,
It felt really, really maternal. It was maternal love moving through my heart
mm,
and out.
yeah,
And that makes me really quite
yeah.
emotional to say it. And actually, one of
You're
the
not the
women,
first and you're not the last that has said exactly the same thing.
that it felt maternal.
Yeah, that was my first experience as well. And I've with others since. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
So, I mean, because it felt maternal, I then linked that to my mum.
Mm,
I thought, oh, maybe my mum, well, actually, not in that moment, it was afterwards. In the moment, I was so present to just this energy moving through and the noise coming out of me and the experience. Afterwards, my little human brain wanted to make sense of it, of course. And I wondered, because it felt so maternal, I wondered if my mum was present because she died, 27 odd years earlier. So, and another woman in the group who I didn't know, and she didn't know my history, and she didn't know my mum had died, said, I saw or felt your mum's presence.
mm,
So to what degree my mum was there, I don't really know, but the energy felt deeply maternal. But it was almost just a combination of my mum's love and maternal love, and it
mm,
was this cleansing, and it
yeah.
felt like I was being I felt like I was being reset in a way that no one could ever reset me, you know?
Yeah.
And as our journey went on over the next few days for that retreat, adventure, pilgrimage experience that we were on,
Hmm.
um, I came to know in my deep in my bones that that experience with Xena activated something within me around, well, it activated a closure because
Mm,
I felt like I came to realize that I had been in a soul contract with my mum all my life. Of course, I mean that's a whole perhaps other conversation, but I believe that I had a soul contract with my mum, and she died early when I was 22. And it was a growth point for me. And it was
mm,
actually a huge reason why I went on to do the work that I now do and have done for the last 15 or so years. And for leading up to that moment, my work was about self love. That's why I wrote that book, The Self Love Affair. And often I would tell the story about my mum's death, and it was suicide, and how
mm,
one of the reasons I do the work I do is because I witnessed firsthand how life looks when you don't love yourself
yeah.
and when you don't have the tools to heal and transform. When you don't have those tools, for my mum when she was 49 and took her life, and she would have been in perimenopause, so she had it all going on, she didn't have the tools or the self-love to.
Which incidentally, Katie, you were 49 when you had that experience.
Yeah, I had just only, what was the date? Yes, because I had couple weeks earlier just been like I was older than my mum was,
Yeah.
if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at that pivotal point, which for me was actually really quite an emotional piece to realize
Mm.
I'd outlived my mum
Yeah.
and that I didn't have a role model going forward of how do you do life after 49? Like I didn't
Mhm.
have that role model until I realized I could find other role models, but I didn't have my mama as my role model.
Yeah.
And I came to realize that I had this soul contract with mum for all these years and it had a purpose. And part of that purpose was the work I do in the world. And then it's done. And I cannot rationalize or explain that. I just know in my bones that my
Mhm.
soul contract with mum was complete. And
Yeah.
by the end of our time together, that's why I had this little tattoo done, that little circle, because
Mm.
that means complete. I had that done in Bali on that trip. I was complete. And whatever I was to do next, I never got the answer of what was next. It has been, it's been revealed over time, and it's
Yeah.
still revealing itself, of
It's
course.
yeah.
But it wasn't about that. It was really this. I, I can start over. Like I just felt like whatever I do next, it's just what does Katie want to offer in the world, and what feels true for me, and it doesn't have to have anything to do with my mum.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the experience with Xena was really activated that realization in me.
Hmm.
And I don't know, there was just the maternal love that passed through my heart just felt just so cleansing. Like it's
Yeah.
done, it's done, and it's okay, go forward.
Yeah. And I can kind of back that up, or however you want to say that, in that obviously I know you so well, and I've just sort of witnessed you in the past year since then, whether that's through talks you've done, in your keynote speaking, um, conversations that, that because the retreat that you were on, the community now is so tight. Um, everyone's literally every day still in conversation.
Yes,
uh,
we are.
which
We
is
love
one of the
it.
most beautiful value points of a retreat,
Yeah.
is the connection. But the way in which you kind of move through the world has changed, and the way in
Hmm.
which you show up subtly. It's subtle, but there is this just this strength, like you've moved into your next phase
Mm.
of wisdom, and it's palpable.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. And actually, you just brought that word wisdom.
Mm.
That was part of the experience too. The maternal energy that I felt pass through my heart was also maternal wisdom. There was wisdom that passed through. And
Yeah.
I really did feel that. And I can feel in myself that I have, you know, I
Oh,
have
yes, you
stepped into some wisdom.
do.
Who
Yeah.
knew?
Who knew? Well, it also, so the shift from me in witnessing you, the shift has been not that you were, I mean, you never played the victim to your story. Well, maybe early on,
Maybe in
but
the
for
very beginning.
right at the beginning, but for years you haven't, and you have been empowered
Mm,
through it, from it, and all the things. But it was still very much a part of you. And what I see now is it's exactly the circle that you've got tattooed. You are whole and complete on your own as a wise woman in the world that is not attached. There's no longer this attachment to the story that defined you. Because we all have stories from our
mm,
past that become our identity, and we see the filter through that. And,
mm,
for you, amazingly, your mum's suicide became something that was incredibly empowering, and you've changed hundreds of lives as a result of it, which is amazing. But there's still, there was still the attachment to this story.
Mm.
And what I see now is that that is, it's gone and it's not needed, and you've become more than,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
You don't, that is no longer needed.
Mhm.
And it's something that, having been in the presence of this work with the horses, although not in a kind of official capacity, but we've done a lot of experiences with people before we're actually taking this out into the world professionally. That is what I see over and over again, is this completion, this letting go, this without having to go into a story, without having to name something, just
Mm.
something. And
Yeah.
not for everyone. And I want to say that there's, we're working with animals here, and you cannot go in with any expectation, but that's part of it. Because actually, if you go in with expectation, you're more than likely going to be disappointed. And everything that happens in that arena with Xena is a mirror as to what happens out there in life as well. And so for
Mm.
you to have felt and respected the kind of reverence of the situation, and respected the power of these animals, and just sat in presence, like you said, with an open heart, that would have been one of the core reasons she even came to you in the first place. Because I've seen it. I've seen what happens with people, and I can
Mm.
tell how open, because it's a giving and receiving. And if we're there just to take,
But
she's like,
I'm gonna be really honest with you, as always. I was hoping she'd come to me. Like
of
I was
course,
like, I want to have a special
yeah.
experience with Xena.
I mean, of course,
I
that's the
was
most
hoping.
natural thing in the world.
Yeah.
But there's no way she would have come to you if you hadn't opened your heart to her.
Right.
She
Right.
wouldn't, because I've seen it.
Right.
She can just turn her back on people, walk off.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it made me feel very special. I felt chosen. It was really, again, my ego loved that I was chosen, and
Yeah.
but that was something that showed me something too.
Yeah.
It was honestly one of the most special experiences, and it I think we've done fairly well to put it into words, and it's not easy to put into words
Yeah.
what I
And
felt.
speaking of putting it into words, I think I touched on it just now. I think one of the most powerful things about this, and what we're talking about here, is one specific type of experiences that you can have with the horses at Blue Horse. This is in particular Xena
Mm.
and her healing work. Um, the beauty of it is that you don't have to put anything into words there. You don't
Yeah.
have to sit and talk to the horse. She knows. She knows.
Yeah.
And that is the most, one of the themes of Blue Horse. In fact, the major theme is um, effortless power. It's what we talk about all the time.
Mm.
And for you and I, who have been in the industry of coaching, and you're certainly been more therapeutic than I have, and the
Mm.
patience and the stories that we're wrapped up in, and the stories we tell each other and we share, and the
Mm.
beliefs we need to change, and all the things to let go, and do the work, do the work, do the work. What I'm seeing here is open your heart, and this energetic, that was the only way to explain it. It's a movement of energy
Like just let it be lifted
Let it
without
be. Yeah,
understanding,
yeah,
without force, effort. Just allow it to be lifted away from
yeah,
you so that you can get on with your life.
yeah. And yeah,
Mm,
and I do want to make that point. That was your experience. That's not gonna be everyone's experience. But
mm,
I've seen and witnessed equally powerful experiences, and they're all unique because every single person that steps in
mm.
that arena for whatever reason they're there, whether they're there to, improve their performance riding or competing or whatever it is to create, like, how do I connect with the horse? Like, it doesn't really matter what you're there for or what you think you're there for.
Well, but that's the point, isn't it? I feel
That is
like
the point.
Zena
Yeah.
knew what I was ready for, and that's just what happened. That was it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So if you were to, let's see if we can sum this up in a very short sentence.
Okay.
Um, your, yeah, what was your experience in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, I feel like I had the privilege of actually feeling what the energy of love feels like, specifically wise maternal love.
Mm.
I felt it physically move through my body while Zena had her head cradled over my entire body. And there was a primal, guttural, noisy release of what I didn't need anymore as that energy passed through me. And it was a reset, and it allowed me to come to complete completion with that soul contract with my mum, who just gets to be my mum now, who I talk to, in my own way. There's it's it's reset that relationship with her, and it set me free to be in the world doing what I meant to do with a different, more grounded, like you said, wise energy.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Like,
pretty cool.
it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can't make it up.
You could not make that
You
up.
cannot make it up.
That's the
And
best kind of
yeah,
transformation and healing, when
yeah.
it happens for you in a way you could never expect. And only you know what happens.
Mm.
It's precious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, because I mean that's some
Sure.
pretty vulnerable stuff. I know you're good at that, but it's, you
It's what
know,
I do.
it's what
Yeah.
you do. And I thank you for it. And given that's what I'm talking about, it's your ability to open your heart and to be at that level of authenticity and being willing to feel would, without a doubt, been part of why you had such a profound experience.
Thank you. And thank you to Zena. I'm sure she feels our conversation.
Yeah, of course she does.
Amazing. And thank you to Joyce for finding Zena and bringing her
Yeah,
into the world in this way. It's so
yeah,
fab.
it's amazing. Just one more thing on that is we had someone there recently, just her and I, and she she didn't even make it down to the stable. Like, she made it to the kind of entrance of the stable. Zena was standing there kind of at the other end just waiting, and she just burst into, like everything just, but what she was saying, she wasn't actually having kind of her own experience as such, but what she felt was the deep, deep, deep maternal grief.
Oh,
that Xena has experienced. Because when Joyce found Xena, she was pregnant. And that's when she rescued her and made that pledge to her that she would keep her safe. She would find her a safe space to have her baby. And she did just that. Xena had her baby and literally took a few breaths and she died. And Xena was then pretty much depressed for some time afterwards. And Joyce, that was a commitment to love her back to health. And that's what she did. And so this kind of maternal thing that we've both felt and other people have felt is real. It's really real. Yeah, it's a lot, right? And you know, I certainly felt it, but what this lady said was, because she kind of could communicate with her, what she basically said was that she is here for this work now. This is her role. This is her maternal nurturing. This is where she gets to be the maternal figure that she never got a chance to be with her foal, which is why it's so strong.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Mm. So that is how Blue Horse was created, because after that, after the baby died and Xena was in such a terrible state, that was when, I mean, Joyce had already made that kind of commitment that I'm going to look after this creature. That is when she decided to build Blue Horse. She had no intention of building a
No.
villa or stables or anything, and it was the commitment to loving her back to health. And now
Wow.
Xena is, that's why I say it's this giving and receiving. You know, it's there is such kind of reverence in this flow of energy, and she's here for it. That's why she sits in circle and waits for whoever is coming. It is her purpose. You know, you talk about you finding purpose. She's found her purpose through her maternal path, I suppose.
Wow, I felt it. And yeah, she does it beautifully. It's
Yeah.
incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
I
Yeah,
know. It's such a privilege.
it really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel really, really, really lucky to have had that experience, to have been there and been a part of that. I mean, that's, that's a once in a lifetime
Yeah.
experience that yeah, I'll never forget it. And I've got that photo on my phone of
Yeah.
seeing bent over me and
Yeah.
my bright red face and crying,
Oh,
and it's just
perfect.
gorgeous. Yeah, it's perfect. It's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And it like talking it through, you know, firstly, I'm reliving it as well because I was there with you, but also you know, for me personally, it anchors in even more why I've been called to do this work with her and bring people and help facilitate this work, because you know, like we said, I don't have a background of horses, but to witness these kind of transformations in a whole new way and be part of it is such a gift. So yeah,
it really is. Yeah, thank you.
thank you.